The World Cup was full of great footballers, but for some legends, it was their last one, like the highly prolific and somewhat controversial Uruguayan forward Luiz Suarez. You see, when we speak of the highly talented and deadliest strikers of the last decade, Suarez would definitely rank highly on the list of many football fans. Not only famous for his top-notch finishing and shot power, the former Liverpool and Barcelona talisman has also earned a name for himself as one of the most controversial football players of all time. Most famous for the goal line save against Ghana at the 2010 World Cup and the infamous Leonardo Bonucci bite, Suarez has become a part of World Cup folklore for many generations to come. But now aged 35, and with Uruguay already knocked out in the group stages of the ongoing finals in Qatar, it's not very likely that Suarez would make it to another World Cup final again. And as fate would have it, Uruguay had to play Ghana again during the group stages of this year's World Cup. But not even their empathetic 2-0 victory was enough for them to qualify. Like Suarez, another legend of the Uruguayan side could just as well have made his final appearance for La Celeste. Fondly remembered for his unique playing style and his phenomenal spells at Napoli and PSG, Cavani has no doubt cemented his place as one of the best strikers of his generation. Also aged 35, like his Uruguayan compatriot, and also making his debut at the biggest footballing stage during the 2010 finals in South Africa. I think it's pretty much safe to say that this World Cup in Qatar might be his last outing. And while the player has yet to make any formal announcements regarding his international career, just like Suarez, he'll be 39 years old by the time the next World Cup in North America gets underway, and would most likely have lost his spot in the team to a much younger forward, or could even have retired from active playing. And while Cavani presently plies his trade for the top Spanish side, Valencia, this other player plays for the biggest club team in the league, and possibly the world. If there's one player who's reputed for breaking the Messi-Ronaldo dominance, it's Luka Modric. After more than a decade of the duo sharing the podium for the Ballon d'Or, between them, the Real Madrid maestro would finally break this trend in 2018, following a fantastic World Cup run in Croatia in the same year, and likewise winning the Champions League with Real Madrid. Luka Modric is no doubt a legend of the game, and the magical midfielder has nothing more to prove to the world. With Croatia already in the semis at the ongoing FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and gearing up to face Argentina, Modric would be hoping that Croatia can finally get the ultimate prize after being denied the opportunity in the last edition by France in the tournament's final game. But with the legend already aged 37, this will undoubtedly be Modric's last outing for the Varane, and hopefully he can sign out with his loudest bang yet. Well, when you're in your late 30s as a footballer, playing in the World Cup is indeed a privilege, but one that can be very short-lived. And like Modric, this other football legend representing the most successful nation in the history of the World Cup might just have had his last dance at the world's most prominent sporting competition. You see, Thiago Silva has undoubtedly achieved legendary status with the Seleção since debuting for Brazil at the 2010 World Cup finals in South Africa. But like with his other outings with Brazil, he'd not be lifting the trophy this year as well, especially after their quarter-final loss to Croatia and exit from the tournament. Now aged 38, Silva has no doubt played in his last World Cup and possibly his last game for the national side as well. The player likewise appears to be in the league of football's legends that'd be drawing the curtain on their football career just after the World Cup comes to an end. Now, before you begin to think that only prominent attackers and defenders of the game are caught up in the last dance at the biggest footballing event in the world, well, not even goalies are left out. Having made his debut over a decade ago during the 2010 FIFA World Cup, Manuel Neuer has gone on to establish himself as an unbeatable force at the heart of Germany's defense. He's maintained his spot as Germany's #1 and has represented the country in every international tournament since then, even winning the World Cup once during the 2014 final, following a 1-0 defeat of Argentina. Now, after 4 World Cup outings and already aged 36, Neuer might might just have played in his last World Cup game for Germany. By the next World Cup in 2026, the shot stopper would be 40 years old, and his chances of getting called up, even if he hasn't yet retired from the game, will be closer to zero. And quite unfortunately for the star legend and Germany, they faced an early exit at the ongoing finals in Qatar after failing to get past the group stages. And while Neuer might not be football's brightest star at the moment, even the game's brightest star might have just had his last World Cup outing. Click here for part 2 right now.